Hello friends and welcome into College Football Now. I am Tom Downey, and with National Signing Day just 2 days away, we're taking a look at the current top 25 recruiting classes in college football. Now before we dive into the current top 25, we also wanted to mention some notable teams who are outside the top 25 right now. Also make note you'll see points for each of those teams. Those are the 24/7 Sports composite points, and that's of course how we rank the top 25 teams. Arkansas, Michigan State, and producer Dylan's favorite team, Oklahoma State, all outside the top 40. And then two big, what's this? USC at number 60 and Virginia Tech all the way down at number 65. Both programs that historically have been very good, but are not having a great start this year in this recruiting class. All right, on to the top 25 here. Wisconsin, they start things off there. 5 four-star recruits of their 20 commits total. Number 24, the Kentucky Wildcats. The SEC continues, shockingly, I know, to recruit very well. 22 commits, 6 of which are 4 stars. The Fighting Herm Edwards, they check in at number 23. That's Arizona State. They've only got 19 commits, but 7 of them are actually 4 stars. Stanford checks in at 22. A bit of a slow start. They've gotten going since then. 21 commits, 6 of them check in as 4 stars. And then number 21, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. And Scott Frost, well, things have not gone according to plan so far, but they do have 24 commits. 10 of them, by the way, check in at 4 stars. They've been as high as inside the top 20. They slipped back down to number 21. And of course, I'll make this note right now as well. Everything is still subject to change. There are still commits who have not yet made, or recruits who have not yet made their commitments. So these rankings are subject to change even in the hours or days after we get this video up for you guys. Now, before we dive into the top 20, I want to know from you. Who do you think will finish with the number 1 recruiting class in 2020? There was recently a change. Stay tuned for that. But let me know what you guys think. Those of you watching on YouTube, you might get it with an ad break here. If you do, scroll on down to the pinned comment. You can cast your votes right there. On now to number 20, the Florida State Seminoles. A new coaching staff comes in. It's Mike Norvell. They got a quarterback recruit for the first time in a while. 23 commits, 9 of them are 4 stars. South Carolina, they check in here at number 19. Now, the Gamecocks only have 21 commits, but of the teams we've gone through so far, they're actually the first one with a 5-star recruit. That's Jordan Birch, the defensive tackle, a top 10 overall player in this class. We'll move on now to, not that far away, North Carolina. They check in at number 18, Mac Brown's program. 26 commits, so there is some volume at play here. 8 of them are 4 stars. The Miami Hurricanes, they check in at number 17. Funny how we've stayed mostly in a somewhat similar area for these groupings. The Hurricanes have 21 commits, 9 of them are 4 stars as they look to kind of get back on track after taking a bit of a rough patch for really, I guess, quite a while at this point. A team that often ranks in the top 10 or the top 15 actually checks in at 16 this time around. That is the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. They have 17 commits, 1 5-star. That is tight end Michael Meyer. Only 8 4 stars, so the top end looks pretty good with that 5-star. Notre Dame brought down by a limited volume of commits. A lot of these teams we're going through have at least 21. In fact, 17 is tied for the lowest of any team inside the top 25. But that 1 5-star sets up well for Notre Dame, and as you've seen in recent years, they continue to recruit quite well. Now, if you guys are like us, you love college football, and recruiting is a fascinating part of that area. So if you want more college football videos on recruiting, on Heisman Trophy, on position battles, on all kinds of stuff as the offseason, I should say, continues along, hit that big red button and subscribe. We will keep updated on all things college football recruiting as we move towards National Signing Day. Number 15 on our list, it is the Washington Huskies. They also have a 5-star recruit. Savell Smalls, a defensive end from the state of Washington, keeping that homegrown talent in there. He's number 29 overall. A promising sign for the Volunteers, Tennessee checks in at number 14. Now, we know Butch Jones recruited pretty well, but didn't develop players all that great. Tennessee ended the year way better than they started, and they could be a team potentially here on the rise going forward under Jeremy Pruitt. 21 commits, 12 of them are 4 stars. Penn State, they check in at number 13. They've got a whopping 27 commitments right now. 11 of them are 4 stars. Unlike some recent years for Penn State, though, they actually have no 5 stars committed at the moment. Moving on now to number 12 and the number 1 recruiting class in the Pac-12, Oregon. I don't think any team has benefited more from the recent issues of USC than the Oregon Ducks. They're the ones poaching some of these 5-star recruits. Oregon's got 21 players committed. Only 9 of them are 5 or 4 stars. But I want to shout out Oregon here for getting 3 different 5-star recruits. That's impressive. Noah Sewell, the linebacker, you knew he was going to go there given his familial ties. Justin Flo, another inside linebacker, and Dante Manning, a cornerback. So Oregon getting some defensive additions. Remember Kevon Thibodeau last year? Going to take, I think, a big step forward. Oregon checks in at number 12. They continue to recruit with the best in the Pac-12. At number 11, it is Texas. They've kind of moved back up a little bit. They were in the top 10 after dropping all the way down to 15 at one point. Just 17 commits, so it is a smaller class than most of the teams we are discussing on this video. 1 5-star recruit. He's a talented one, though, at a big-time position of need. Bijan Robinson, the running back. I know there was some concern something crazy could happen given that Stan Drayton was recruited by the NFL to make the jump there. He chose to stay. Robinson comes in. I think he's going to make a year 1 impact just because of the lack of depth at the running back position. Injuries, of course, were a big problem on that front for Texas this year, but Robinson comes in. I think he'll find his way on the field very quickly for Texas. Now, if you're a college football fan, I know you guys have some gear, your favorite team, but you always could use some more. And there is gear on sale right now for up to 50% off. It's chatsports.com/NCAA gear. That's chatsports.com/NCAA gear. They've got hats, they've got t-shirts, they've got hoodies, they've got jerseys even. Totally not for current players either. It just happens to be the same number. It's chatsports.com/NCAA gear, up to 50% off. Check the comments, check the description. I've got the links in there for you guys. Moving on now, inside the top 10, the Michigan Wolverines. Surprising to me is that despite having 14 4-star recruits, they don't have anyone inside the top 100. A.J. Henning leads the way at number 101. So it's not the same star power-driven class that a different Big Ten team we'll get to has, but 14 4-star recruits, that's a very strong base for the Michigan Wolverines. They check in at number 10. And I'll remind everyone again, in case you missed it earlier, the composite points, that's the 24/7 sports rankings. That's how we determine the top 25. So which team do you guys hate the most? Let us know in the comments section. I know we got Michigan fans, so there'll be plenty of Ohio State comments. I know we have Ohio State fans too, so there'll be plenty of Michigan comments as well. And of course, everyone gets tired by Alabama. So let me know which college football team you guys hate the most. Moving on now to number 9, it is the Oklahoma Sooners. And Oklahoma kind of in an interesting spot, frankly, much like Michigan. They are the number 1 Big 12 program in terms of recruiting and really on the field too. 23 commits, so 3 less than Michigan, but 15 of them are 4-star recruits. They have 2 top 100 offensive linemen, Nate Anderson, Andrew Ram. They also got the number 1 JUCO defensive tackle, Perion Winfrey, to help make an impact, hopefully right away. The Florida Gators, they check in at number 8, a possible sleeper for the college football playoff this upcoming season. 1 5-star recruit, an impressive 16 4-stars as well. Florida checks in at number 8. They continue to, recruit like Florida actually does. Their number 1 player this year, Javon Dexter, listed at 6'6.5", 286 pounds. He's the nation's number 3 defensive tackle in this year's recruiting class, number 12 nationally. Hopefully he can make an impact early given the upfront losses Florida is about to undergo. We'll stick in the SEC for number 7. That is the Auburn Tigers. Now, they don't have any 5-star recruits. They have 16 4-stars, though, and 4 of them actually checked in inside the top 100, led by Tank Bigsby, a running back. Quick note here, I mention this a lot. I am a big fan of great names equal great on-field play. A running back named Tank, I don't see how that's not going to work out. You got some defensive help as well with Walker, Steiner, and Hardy. All 4 of those guys check in from number 75 to 100. The Auburn defense was really good this year. They're going to have some losses this year and next. Getting those guys in, helping and having that defense reload instead of rebuild will be key in the tough SEC. Oh, look, another SEC school, Texas A&M. They check in at number 6. They've got 24 commits, 12 4-stars, and 2 different 5-star recruits. The Aggies under Jimbo Fisher continue to recruit well. That's not really much of a surprise, and beating Texas in recruiting always feels good for the Aggies. They do have a 5-star in Dedmon Demas, a receiver, but Jalen Jones, the safety out of Texas, is the prize recruit for the Aggies. Good size at 6'1.5", 190. The number 1 safety recruit and the number 21 overall player in the nation for the 2020 class. So who's the most underrated college football team for 2020? The Aggies had a lot of losses because they played a brutal schedule. I wonder if you could make an argument for A&M being one of the more underrated programs. Although, maybe they're getting overhyped now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section. The most underrated college football team in 2020. I don't think you can make any argument for the Buckeyes being underrated because Ohio State. We know they're going to be among the best teams in college football, and if they're not, something terrible has gone on. They were number 1 for a little bit, at least at one point. They've now slipped back down to number 5. They were number 4 not that long ago, even just like a week and a half ago. 3 5-star recruits, part of a dynamite receiver class. They've got 7 top 100 recruits overall. 4 of them are receivers. That's insane. Julian Fleming and then Jackson Smith and Jigba, both of them among the 2 5-star recruits at receiver. And then there's also Paris Johnson, a 5-star offensive tackle coming in for the Ohio State Buckeyes. LSU, they check in at number 4, the defending national champs, of course. 3 5-star recruits. In terms of 4 stars, they've got 14, 24 commits in total. And that's good because LSU, as national champions often have, massive losses on both sides of the football. LSU, they recruit great. They're going to need some of those players to step up, like Eric Gilbert, the number 5 overall player, a 5-star tight end. Elias Ricks, the number 14 overall player at cornerback. And then, I think just an elite name, Kayshon Boutte, number 24 overall, a 5-star receiver. LSU, in terms of receivers, they always find great players. Maybe Boutte could be one of the next ones up in that pipeline. Valentine's Day is coming up, fellas, and if you haven't got your gifts for your mom, your girlfriend, your wife, do it right now before you end up in the doghouse. And if you do it now, you don't have to pay for the rush shipping from Pro Flowers, and of course they'll ship it out to you on Valentine's Day, so the flowers aren't sitting around and going dead or whatever. It's chatsports.com/flowers. That link, by the way, saves you 15% off all flowers and gifts. So do it now. Get that box checked off. They'll arrive on time. You don't have to pay for the extra rush shipping, and they'll make your significant other happy, and most importantly, not super upset with you. It's chatsports.com/flowers. On now to number 3, the Clemson Tigers, 23 commits in this year's class, and perhaps most impressively, 5 different 5-stars. Clemson recruits as well as any team in the nation at that top-end level. Some big-name players, the number 1 overall player, another defense lineman coming in for Clemson, Brian Breezy, the number 1 overall recruit, Miles Murphy at defensive end. One of the toughest names to pronounce in all of college football. It's the star quarterback DJ Uiagalelei, the quarterback. He's going to be, in theory, the Trevor Lawrence replacement. DeMarcus Bowman, a running back, could be your Travis Etienne replacement next year. And then Trenton Simpson. All of these guys, 5-star recruits. Clemson, at the same level of the other major programs, they don't rebuild. They simply reload. Alabama, they are often number 1, but they were just surpassed. They were number 1 like a week ago. They've dropped back down to number 2. 26 commits. 4 of them are 5 stars, plus a ridiculous 18 4-stars. It's just insane. And the most insane part for Alabama, 13 players have enrolled early. That's like getting an extra half class for last year. Like that is ridiculous. The job that Nick Saban is able to do on that level is truly impressive. Bryce Young, the number 2 overall player, a quarterback. Will Anderson and Chris Braswell, both defensive ends. They could be your next-rate Bama defensive lineman. And then Drew Sanders as well, the number 22 overall recruit and a 5-star athlete. But at number 1, it is the Georgia Bulldogs. 23 players committed. 4 of them are 5 stars. 15 different 4-star recruits as well. Georgia, and I got to give credit to Kirby Smart. Kirby Smart came in at Georgia and immediately started recruiting at the level he learned to recruit at Alabama. Keely Ringo, the number 4 player. He's a corner. Broderick Jones, a DT, number 11. Jalen Carter, an athlete, 5 stars, number 18 overall. And Darnell Washington checks in at number 23 overall. And of course, I'll make this note just one last time here for you guys. These rankings might end up changing, and I would venture to say at some levels they will. But your top 5 as of right now, it is the Ohio State Buckeyes, the LSU Tigers check in at number 4, the Clemson Tigers check in at number 3, Bama checks in at 2, Georgia's at number 1. Maybe it shouldn't be a surprise that these 5 teams are among the favorites for next year's college football playoff.